Film 56 on roof. God, I love this job.
All right.
He's like, all right, yeah, you're good. You'll be the best one to handle this guy who I just met, and I'm certain is suicidal. Let's send him up to de-escalate this situation. If you watch, immediately the handcuff snaps off. Every single person that they walk by just goes and just looks directly into the camera. Welcome back, movie listers. My name's John. I'm a filmmaker.
My name's Matt. I'm a doctor. John made a list of 100 movies that somehow I missed along the way, so I'm watching them all for the first time. I may add in a little medical razzmatazz here and there.
You should add as much razzmatazz as you want. Maybe I'll throw out some film fizzy fun. So you trapped me on that one. But yeah, today's fizzy fun is 1987's Lethal Weapon. And man, it's about time we're popping in the 80s. We've been having a lot of requests for them, a lot of lovers of the 80s out there, and for good measure. And so we're starting strong here with good old Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, essential 80s of Lethal Weapon.
Now, as we watch through these, I know that these are supposed to be movies that are fantastic, and I'm still surprised every time at how good these movies are. There's nothing but bangers on this list, man.
It's unbelievable. Like some of these, like obviously we have a real friendship, so that's not the only reason we talk. It is still unbelievable me on a consistent basis that you have not seen these movies, and I cannot believe you haven't seen Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I'm really grateful we're going through and doing this because these are some great films, and I'm very excited to be watching through them all.
Yeah, this is one I grew up on quite literally. Actually, Lethal Weapon 2. I don't know if this is a bold take. It's probably my favorite. But I can't just jump in and say, let's watch Lethal Weapon 2 when you haven't seen it. Well, you don't know what's going on. So, but Lethal Weapon 2 is, it's got the same charms, fun, but then throw in Joe Pesci. All right. Hilarious. So, maybe we'll do that sometime later on the movie list, bring back Lethal Weapon 2. But hey, if you haven't seen Lethal Weapon 1 somehow, if you're like Matt, if you're either a younger millennial and you just missed the 80s entirely, which I did, but it's not an excuse, or it's one of those that you just haven't taken the time to do, that's not a uncommon story. And here's the thing. The movie list is not 100 best movies, right? That would be another podcast. But these are just 100 movies that somehow Matt missed. But now's your chance. You have no excuse. So pop down in the description, click the link, watch it on your own. Come back here and join us as we talk through Lethal Weapon. If not, no problem. I'll talk you through it.
I'm too old for this shit.
Los Angeles in the late 80s. Veteran detective Roger Murtaugh, Danny Glover, is a family man just trying to make it to retirement in one piece. Then he gets assigned a new partner, Martin Riggs, Mel Gibson, a brilliant cop with a death wish, and after a personal tragedy, he throws himself into danger like he doesn't care if he survives. Their first big case starts with what looks like a simple death, but it quickly unravels into something much darker, a high-end drug operation tied to a powerful, well-connected criminal who doesn't mind killing cops to stay protected. As the bodies pile up and the threats get personal, Murtaugh and Riggs clash hard until they realize the only way out is to trust each other. What follows is a fast, explosive sprint through chases, shootouts, and close calls as two opposite men become an unlikely team and prove they're not too old for this shit, but exactly who you want to fight. All right, Matt. Good thing you're not too old for this shit. Walk us through your first. That's going to be happening throughout the episode, by the way. It's just I can't help it. It's impulsive. It's compulsive. Murtaugh's just going to be popping out. What did you think of your first time watching Lethal Weapon?
So watching through this for the first time was a lot of fun. So I was kind of learning the characters as I went along, and so they make a big deal about Riggs and his character, and is he crazy? Does he have a death wish? And watching it for the first time, I don't really know. So I'm figuring out I kind of as we're supposed to. I think on a rewatch, you kind of lose that aspect of it because you already know kind of how the movie goes and how it ends. But it was kind of fun to see Mel Gibson playing this kind of wild character who's kind of a loose cannon.
Now, had you seen a lot of Mel Gibson before this?
Not much. I kind of saw the big ones for Mel Gibson, so Braveheart, The Patriot,
Okay. All right.
but
Well,
not a lot of other stuff. Just
Mad
because
Max?
it was. I don't think I've seen Mad Max.
Okay.
At least not the OG Mad Max.
Right.
But yeah, so and I've seen some of his more recent stuff, like Signs, of course.
Yeah,
which, we watched that one together.
That came out like 20 years
I
ago.
know, right? Yeah, we saw it back then together.
Yeah. It's more recent than 1987.
Of course. So, but yeah, so it's kind of my. It's cool to see him back kind of in his prime.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, and we can probably touch on this in a minute, like where this fell in his career as far as is this the first thing he ever did? Is this 10 years in? I don't know, but and I haven't really seen hardly anything of Danny Glover, so
Yeah.
that was kind of cool to get to know them through watching the movie. And I think they do a good job sort of establishing who Riggs is kind of in reputation or kind of hint at it before they really show you as the movie plays out that he's, it's like a sharpshooter essentially. They point out right when he and Murtaugh meet that he was an assassin in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So they kind of sprinkle that in, and then you're kind of learning as you go what he's capable of. So like when we meet him, we're dropped into the scene where he's doing that, like he's faking a drug deal, and then like he takes on, like, there's at least 3 guys, so he kind of takes them head on, and he doesn't know there's a guy behind him in the truck and all this stuff, and he just like completely dominates that situation just because of his skill level. Also, young Mel Gibson was pretty freaking agile. Like in that scene where he's like diving all around and rolling, you're like, oh man, he was quick back then.
He was.
So
He's a specimen
indeed. And his hair is a specimen all on its own.
Was that real? Do you think? Is that all
Of
natural?
course, it had to be.
Okay. Well,
The good old 80s blowout, man.
I'll believe you on that. It looks pretty rough nowadays, but I think he's in his 70s now, so
You're allowed.
it's to be forgiven.
Yeah, that's kind of my take on the first watch. I think there's things given to you in the first watch that you kind of have to learn as you go through it, and then with the rewatch, you kind of miss out on the fact that you don't know that Riggs is, he lost his wife and he kind of has a death wish ever since then. And all this kind of the character is being built as the movie goes forward.
Yeah.
And I think they do a good job at that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the mark of a well-written screenplay, and it is a very well-written screenplay. Shane Black actually wrote this. It is like his first script out of film school. He was 23 when he wrote this, which frustrates me, honestly, that he was just like immediately successful right out of school. But the man can write. And he said in interviews that, he basically wanted this to be an urban Western. So he pulled from a lot of Westerns, put into modern day LA. We just watched Pushing Sundance a few weeks ago. And so there's elements of that. Dirty Harry, which is not really a Western, but it's kind of the same, gritty. What if you put like a Western star in, LA or California in its heyday of crime. And then, so Richard Donner, who is the director, made Goonies and Superman. He obviously brought a more fun, feel to it. So that's what, when you're kind of feeling that mixture of the grittiness and the, high stakes and kind of some dark stuff that they go through. He lost his wife and Murtaugh's concerned with losing his family and in this whole thing, mixed with just the witty banter and the fun and the, the kind of the goofiness, the childlikeness of it that Richard Donner brings. And so they both kind of brought their elements to it, which is, I think, just such a great mixture. And so when you have Dirty Harry, there's even homages to it throughout it that you can see, like in the shooting scene where Murtaugh holds up the gun, at the car. And that's in like that whole famous Dirty Harry scene of the, do you feel lucky, punk? Do ya? Clint Eastwood, super famous. The revolver is out of ammo, which is kind of where that line comes from. And so Murtaugh has that same revolver. And then, Richard Donner he said he wanted to make it more, if it was going to be a Western, he wanted it to be more of a John Wayne Western, right? So not gritty and bloody and like Dirty Harry was. He wanted it to be more like kind of fun, like a Red River type thing. And you can feel that stuff too. So even in the scene where Riggs and Murtaugh are introduced to each other, you kind of see elements of this, right? Where, Riggs is there, Murtaugh's, detective is telling him that he's getting a new partner, and he just sees this random guy, looks kind of sketchy, pulls out, starts checking at his gun. Good, we got a gun. Runs at him to try to tackle him, I guess. And then Riggs just completely pulls a nice little judo move on him and takes him down. And that's the first, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Which is just a legendary line. I mean, I'm sure you probably heard that line, even not having seen this movie.
Right. There's a whole Always Sunny episode about it.
I believe it. But the little hat tip that he does is to me, it feels like kind of an old John Wayne Western, like the way he tips his hat. And yeah, but just, basically Riggs, I think they're saying in that scene, Riggs is a cowboy. Right. Riggs is not somebody who's going to be held into the rules. He plays, he's kind of out there in the Wild West playing by his own rules. Ironically, actually, in 1994, a movie came out called Maverick with Mel Gibson, where he plays a cowboy outlaw.
I have seen that one.
So, funny thing in that, Danny Glover has a kind of a cameo in it where he's like the bank robber. And it's a kind of funny fourth wall thing where he pulls his bandana down and they look at each other and they're like, almost kind of like, do we know, like a deja vu other life thing? And they're like, no. And the guitar, you actually hear the guitar play the tune from Lethal Weapon.
Come around! Hurry up! Hurry up! Hey! Oh, I'm sorry. Give me that. I'm getting too old for this shit.
Like that whole back and forth, that line, it's so iconic. It's branching into other movies that don't have anything to do, not even at the same time. Like that movie takes place 100 years before this. But it's just, it's iconic and it's timeless.
Perfect.
So I'm glad you got to experience it.
I'm going to get all the references from now on.
Just like Lebowski. Now we can actually have conversations that you're not totally confused by.
I do like that.
So, yeah, but Riggs and Murtaugh, they're, they are a little bit of fire and ice, but they're perfect. Yeah, the casting was great. Ironically, they're not that far apart in age. Danny Glover was only 40 when he got casted to do this, and Mel Gibson was 30. So they're only 10 years apart, but they play way
20
different.
years apart.
Literally, they play 20 years apart. And some of that's just Danny Glover playing up. He does a great job of it. But they pretty consistently reiterate that he's old. Like the whole movie, they're like, just as a reminder, he's old.
Yeah, it's his 50th birthday. They point that out.
Yeah.
So, not that that's terribly old, but he's thinking about retirement and all this. He's got, kind of everything to lose. He's got this partner who's got a death wish, and he's super happy. It's a really cool motif, the way that they built that, where the partners are so much a dichotomy from one another.
Right. Retirement at 50, gosh. Those were the days, right? The 80s.
He's thinking
it was the 80s when you could actually retire at 50. You're like, I'm so old. I feel like people seemed older at 50 in 1987. Though.
Yeah, I think that's
I wasn't alive, but I'm assuming. I feel that. In the 90s, as that I can say as the 90s, early 90s.
But then
50
you learn
seemed like 90.
He has a boat and 3 kids and a house.
In LA.
Yeah,
Yeah, on a police detective salary.
correct.
I think he was doing some stuff under the table.
I don't know. I think it's just a difference in the dollar,
That's
over
true.
those years.
That's true. But I mean, yeah, he's got a beautiful family, and in contrast, you have Riggs, who is naked in his trailer for some reason as you are introduced to him, and he's got a dog, which is not so bad. And it's kind of, you alluded to earlier, the big scene where they introduce him, the drug bust, and he's got a few loose screws, so to speak. And the way that he pulls the gun on him.
Are you calling me crazy? You think I'm crazy? Yeah, you want to see crazy? I'll tell you.
He basically does the Three Stooges on him,
Right.
the eye poke, and as a great distraction to get the gun. Which I don't know if you noticed this, but that scene is like bookended right into the next scene in his trailer, and he's watching the Three Stooges.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
So like he's watching Three Stooges, and I guess that ends, and then he's watching Looney Tunes. And I was like, when's Looney Tunes going to come into play? When's he going to use that as his strategy?
There's a hole, and they stick their gun in it, and comes out another hole behind them.
He's going to like just draw a painting of a door.
A road. He goes through it, and they run right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looney Tunes, man. Where did this fall in Mel Gibson's career?
Pretty early. I mean, so, he grew up in Australia. So, I mean, he's an American, but he grew up in Australia. And so he was like, I think doing like theater acting out there in Sydney. And when they went to shoot Mad Max in the early 80s, or maybe even, actually it was 79, I believe, when it came out. So it was late 70s. And the story is actually funny. He got casted as Max because he actually was dropping a friend off at that audition. And the night before, he had gotten in a bar fight. So like his face was all like bloodied and scarred and beaten. And the director of Mad Max saw him, and he's like, that guy, get him to audition. And he's like, I'm not auditioning for this. He's like, well, I want you to come back in when your face is healed, and I want you to audition for this. So I think even then, he had as Max, he had that element of obviously charming, just gorgeous man in terms of like just his facial structure and his eyes, but he has that like something's off about him, and you can't fake that. And he really had that perfectly. And then so it was early. I mean, that was the 80s. He did a few other movies, but he made, a couple of Mad Maxes, and then right into this was one of his first big Hollywood productions, because Mad Max was fairly indie. I mean, the way it was, obviously it's a legendary movie, but the first one especially was like real low budget. And so fairly early, and he blew the audiences away, I think, in this one. That scene in the trailer, to transition from Three Stooges to the scene where he's considering, taking his own life.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all kind of sweating at that scene,
Yeah.
Just it's so gritty,
One of the things that I think that plays into that is Mel Gibson put real blanks in the chamber of that gun. So, I mean, obviously it's not like a real bullet, but blanks, like famously Brandon Lee died from someone shooting a blank at him. So there's still projectile that comes out of a blank. And so when you're talking about putting a blank in a pistol and putting it right into your head and into your mouth, he very well could have died. And I think that plays into the intensity of that scene and the intensity of Mel Gibson. I mean, you talked a couple weeks ago about Tom Hanks. He might be my favorite actor. I mean, when you put together all
Mel
these
Gibson?
things, yeah, I think Mel Gibson might be up there for me. Not only is an incredible actor, incredible director, but and I think the thing he does so well is any actor can cry, or not any actor, but a lot of actors can pull up tears. You know what I mean? But what he does better than anybody else is fight back tears. And I think that's a level of like Signs, especially. There's a scene in Signs when he is making dinner, or the final dinner essentially for everybody, and everybody's scared, and he starts taking food from everyone's plates and putting it on his own plate. And that scene, he's just welling up with emotion, but you can see him trying to push it down. That is incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's the mark of just a master at his craft, and I think he is that.
Beautiful.
I'll see you later. I'll see you much later.
So one of the things I think they did really well in this movie is showing the degree of sort of hesitancy these guys had working together.
Yeah.
Where like Murtaugh just point blank tells him, I don't want to work with you. Right when they meet. And then you watch them kind of over time become real partners. They trust one another. And they're kind of, rounding each other out a little bit. And there's kind of like the before and after of like the family dinner when Murtaugh has him over for dinner and he meets Riggs meets all Murtaugh's family. And
daughter's coming on to him a little bit.
Yeah, the kids do the beat, incredible 80s, 90s beatboxing.
The heck, dude, that thing went freaking like unnecessarily hard.
So
my name is Carrie. I'm no fairy. My sister's Sherry. She's in love.
Out of control.
Everyone could do that in the 80s. I was hoping they were going to start breakdancing.
Yeah, that would have been sick, dude. But yeah, so there's that, and then it's like after that scene, like as Riggs is walking away, he's like, I was really good at it,
Yeah.
And he's like, what? And he's like, shooting people, basically. He's like, that's the only thing I was ever really great at. And it's like after that little moment of vulnerability and honesty, they are partners after that for the rest of the movie.
Right.
And then there's a lot of the whole time. There's so much just fun sprinkled in. You kind of touched on it earlier, like the one-liners and little quips. They're everywhere, and they're like they happen so fast. It's hard to catch them all.
Right.
So just some of my favorite ones. I can go over a few of them real quick. When Riggs gets shot in the chest by the shotgun, he falls over and he kind of goes unconscious for a minute. He pops back up. And Murtaugh runs up and is like, oh, man. Notices he was wearing his bulletproof vest. He's like, if they shot 2 inches higher, you would have lost your head. And he says, yeah, and 2 inches lower, I would have been a falsetto for life.
Yeah, 2 inches lower, I'd have been a falsetto for life. Come on, let's go. I bet you sound nice. Come on.
And then there's a part where, like, Murtaugh's talking about how he owes, what's the banker guy?
Hunsucker? Hunsucker.
Yeah. So he says that, he owes Hunsucker one because he saved his life in the war. He says he took a bayonet in the lung for me. And then Riggs says, oh, well, that was nice of him. Just keep on rolling. So just a bunch of those little like quick jab jokes.
And of course the big one at the end when he's untying them, he's saving them. He's like, hey, what did one shepherd say to the other shepherd? He goes, what? He goes, let's get the flock out of here.
That's a very
so
80s joke.
I can like literally hear my dad cracking up at that in my ears. Just like freaking like 20 years ago. Dude, that was like top-notch comedy then.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean,
Then,
they're so good together.
They are. They had a really good chemistry. Which you wouldn't expect that because they're so different and the characters they play are so different, but they really kind of bring it together. I did want to ask, I noticed there's a lot of sort of the audio in this movie is very different from what you'd get nowadays in a couple of different ways. Like there's parts, especially the scene when they're after that house blows up and there's the fire truck and Murtaugh's talking to that bunch of kids. Like, it doesn't look like his mouth matches up with the audio.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes it's a little more obvious than others. Yeah. Yeah.
So yes. So it. I mean, it's first off, it's the 80s. That was just part of it. So yeah, there's something called ADR, additional dialogue recording, which is really common. So in a situation where you're shooting, the ideal is to get the clean audio on the day, on location. That's not always practical, especially if you're shooting downtown LA. You could be shooting a key scene and there's a freaking ambulance going by that just wrecks that take and you can't use it. So they'll take actors in, lay out the scratch audio, so like what it actually sounded like, and then it's called looping. They go in the studio and they try to replicate what they said, so it matches as much as possible. Yeah, I noticed it. I think some of like his kids on the stairs is especially bad to me because like whenever it's mixed, that's where I hear it the worst. I'm passionate about this. One of my first movies that I ever made was like 80% ADR. So just the audio was so bad that we had to like ADR the whole thing. So it's kind of triggering to me. But yeah, especially the kids. I mean, when you have kids trying to do ADR, of course it's not going to match, dude. The kids are just they're just saying whatever.
One of my favorite parts with the kids, this is kind of touches on a little bit of the audio thing as well, but as they're walking away, like you still hear them talking. And one of them says, "Hey, can I get some ice cream for my brother?" And then one of the other kids says, "What brother? You don't have a brother?"
No, not you, Alfred. Now, Alfred. Man, you suck.
He's trying to get bonus ice cream.
Yeah.
That joke is really hard to catch because it's like as the kids are walking away.
Yeah, it frustrates me in movies when and I don't know if it's just like a film guy thing or not, but it frustrates me in movies when I can tell they're throwing in jokes with ADR. Like when that was not in the script, that was not said, and they're like, "Oh, but let's just add in an extra line," and so they have them say it in the studio. I can always tell, and it always takes me out of it for a second. Like, just don't put a joke there.
Right.
Another really bad one was that guy that they kind of hold the heroin dealers, and as he's leaving and he's going out of their bar, he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, of course. The whole thing is like completely ADR. They didn't have to do that. Just don't have that scene in there.
Yeah, right. Joshua, yeah, right. I got you. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, right. Merry Christmas to you too, pal.
Like, don't have him say any of that stuff. So, I don't know.
Fair enough. And there was like a lot of lines like that kind of were dropped when you're not looking at the characters.
Yeah.
Like in the fight scene at the end where Murtaugh is talking, and he's like, "Get him! You've got this." And there's they just add those
that's
on.
kind of a different thing. So again, I don't want to go too much into the filmmaking thing. I don't know how much you care to know, but so if an actor says a line, you have to pay him at a different rate than somebody. So if you are just there and you don't actually speak on camera, you're background. So anybody who's ever done any extra work, like you're not allowed to talk. You can mouth. You're actually supposed to mouth. Say watermelon is the thing. I always told my background actors to say the rap to their favorite, to say the lyrics of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? So they're not just like watermelon, because that's not how people look. So I'd say West Philadelphia. Kind of thing, like just mouth it so it looks a little bit more natural. Unfortunately, usually it's two people at a table and they're both just they're just looking at each other, just which is not. But yeah, so that's common because those guys aren't allowed to talk, but you see their mouths moving, so you need something coming out. So they'll have other actors who are paid a lower rate record some of that stuff, so there's something coming out. It's very obviously ADR'd. Just hey, anyway, producers can save some money here and there. I get it. Budgets are tight. Less tight in 1987. Apparently, you could buy a boat and house on a
right.
But yeah, I mean when they're coming together, they're well. Let me ask you this: they caught lightning in a bottle in a little bit with the charisma and recklessness of Mel Gibson, and then the kind of curmudgeon-y, like, but still charming kind of old man Danny Glover. If we were to recast this nowadays, who do you think would be the Murtaugh character, and who do you think we would cast as Riggs? So if we're going to cast Lethal Weapon today, who is Riggs and who is Murtaugh? What do you think?
I'll do it.
All right.
Well, we have to do a wrong answers only afterwards.
Okay. All right. Fair.
All right.
Oh, crap. All right. Let me think. All right.
Okay. So I'm going to say, I'm going to put for Murtaugh, I'm going to put in Denzel.
All right.
And then I think Mel Gibson's going to be much harder one to find a suitable, just that's very specific energy for Riggs.
Yep.
I'll probably go. Just because I think they'd be really fun to watch on screen together, I'd put Chris Pratt, I think. I think Chris Pratt and Denzel is going to be a good chemistry match.
I like it. I'm going to mix it up a little bit because they said when they wrote the script that Murtaugh or Riggs, they didn't have a race in mind. So I'm actually going to switch up the races here a little bit.
Okay.
For Murtaugh, we need somebody who's charming but also kind of in a bad mood all the time. Billy Bob Thornton. Who's better at being a lovable grump, than Billy Bob Thornton. And contrast to that, all right, so we got the white guy. Now we need the black counterpart, Donald Glover.
Whoa.
Not Danny Glover, Donald Glover, which no relation, by the way. So I got Billy Bob Thornton and Donald Glover, who I think has the physicality. He has, the emotional side, but also if you've seen like This Is America music video, his eyes, he's got the eyes, right?
He can do
Mel
crazy.
Gibson really does the big crazy eyes a lot.
Yeah.
I think he'd kill it.
And he's funny too.
He is funny. He's hilarious. And so I think he's one of the few actors right now that has all of those things.
Awesome.
All right.
So my wrong answers only.
I'm ready.
Okay. I'm going to put in I want to say Jackie Chan as Murtaugh. As Murchan.
I like it. Okay.
And then I'm going to go Timothy Chalamet as Riggs.
I'd actually see that. That actually seems kind of charming.
It'd be a heck of a movie.
I thought it was going to be worse. Mine's way worse. All right. I've been sitting over here thinking, like, what's the most chaotic answer, right? So we need like a big menacing, physical specimen and then like kind of a grumpy. I'm going to go as Riggs. I'm going to go The Rock.
Okay.
Right? Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And as Murtaugh, changing the race again, Danny DeVito. The Rock and Danny DeVito. Honestly, that sounds like a great movie to me.
I would watch that.
Yeah.
Very different flavor.
But very fun. I think it'd be a blast.
Yeah, if we were going to do a recast on I think Rock would have been a good Mr. Joshua for my wrong answers only.
That's a good one. Yeah. Mr. Joshua. But yeah, I think Rock and Danny DeVito and
great choices.
All right, sorry, but yeah, I mean, getting back on track, their partnership is early on. They don't, Murtaugh doesn't trust Riggs, and the first test of this is they get their first call, and so Riggs is pumped. They go, and it's somebody who's on the edge of a building threatening to jump off, which leads me to my first. Oh yeah, right. Of the movie. Couple details here. First off, they pull up and it's somebody who is, threatening to end their life, which Riggs has obviously shown that he's suicidal. And then they decide, let's send Riggs up to help this guy out. I don't know, maybe he can relate on a personal level to him, but he's like, let me go up. He's like, all right, yeah, you're good. You'll be the best one to handle this guy who I just met, and I'm certain is suicidal. Let's send him up to de-escalate this situation. And then he gets up there, right? He's talking through him. He gives him a cigarette, throws the handcuffs on him, right? Which is a good move. I'm like, all right, yeah, he got him, right? And then he gets all crazy eyes, right? And he's like, you want to jump? You want to jump? Let's jump. And they jump together. If you watch, immediately the handcuff snaps off. So I don't know what LA was doing back then in terms of their handcuffs, but as soon as they jump, the chain on that handcuff just snaps right off. Second, right? And then just sometime, and I don't know on the way down or what, they just got this like 50-foot inflatable bouncy house out. Just that was not there at any point. They had like parked when they pulled up. They parked right where that was going to be. But at some point,
they got it up fast, dude.
They pulled out that big inflatable, like one of the like the big things at the lake that you jump on, and somebody gets flooded. The blob. They threw a big blob out there.
Yeah. I don't know why that was easier than just stepping back over the wall with the guy.
It was not. It definitely. Maybe it was more fun though.
Yeah.
In fairness to Riggs, it was more fun.
So, Murtaugh's first name is Roger. And before they walk into the building, he's like, all right, I think you'll be the best one to handle this. You go on up there. And he looks at him and goes, Roger. And he goes, what? He goes, 10-4. He goes, oh, okay. But it's a funny little nuance.
Yep. Yeah. Murtaugh's pissed. He's pulling him off the big inflatable balloon. Again, going back to the extras, I don't mean to keep beating up on the 80s extras, but the 80s were known for having terrible background actors. Sorry if you or one of your relatives were one of those people, but dude, go back and watch that scene. The background acting in that scene is horrible. Every single person that they walk by just goes and just looks directly into the camera, not looking at Riggs. They're not looking at Murtaugh. They just go. It's so bad. It's distracting. It's really distracting.
Man. Oh, that's funny. I think it comes after that, the shooting range scene.
Yeah,
which that one I have seen that clip before. Because it's like it's so famous of a scene. I think it's hard to avoid even if you haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
But where they're kind of like trying to show off and see who can hit, center mass the best and all this at the shooting range. And then Riggs does the whole smiley face. He pushes like way back.
He's like squinting just to see where it is.
And I noticed when the paper was coming back, right when it gets to the point where you would be able to see that he shot a smiley face,
right?
Mel Gibson steps to the right and blocks the camera from seeing it, so you don't see it until he like pulls it off of the clip, which I thought was a nice little touch.
That's Richard Donner, dude. That's Richard Donner all day. Friggin' just genius directing. Hey, hold on to the punchline till the right moment. That's a good catch.
Cool.
So they're moving on the case. They're talking to this Hunsucker guy, trying to, he gets eggnog. They're really trying to reiterate the fact that this is Christmas. Which, by the way, why isn't this talked about more as a Christmas movie?
Right. Yeah, Die Hard gets all the credit for that.
Seriously. Like Die Hard, like this movie really wants you to know. Die Hard's just kind of like, all right, it's a Christmas party. But then the rest of the movie is just, action. Like this movie has product placement of eggnog. The helicopter comes up, shoots the guy through the chest, and then the eggnog is how you know that he got shot.
Yeah, he got shot right in the eggnog.
He got shot literally in his Christmas spirit. Which at that point, once they introduce the helicopter, it's like the star of the movie. I don't know if they were just like, we have this helicopter for 2 weeks. It's going to be in every shot from now on. But they love that helicopter, man. And Mr. Joshua is there with the freaking sniper rifle. Gary Busey, which we haven't talked much about Gary Busey as Mr. Joshua. Really introduced a new type of villain. Gary Busey is, in the scene with the heroin guy, and he says, what's your name? He goes, that's hardly relevant, but you may call me Mr. Joshua, which I don't know why that's so fun to say. Mr. Joshua.
Mr. Joshua.
Who are you? That's hardly important, but if it matters, you may call me Mr. Joshua.
Just as a storytelling device, that scene I think is awesome. I don't know if device is the right term, but
yeah,
that moment in the storytelling is really cool because they show kind of the general, our big bad guy, and this guy who she's trying to make a deal with is He's like, he doesn't like the deal. He's being all fussy about it. And so he's like, how do we even know we can trust these guys that you've hired? Aren't they mercenaries? And he's like, oh, they're completely loyal. And he's like, come on, how could you know that? And then he's like, all right, Mr. Joshua, give me your arm. And so he burns his arm with a lighter for a while and then finally stops. He's like, all right, go get that looked at. And so Mr. Joshua walks off, which establishes this guy is mean. He's a big meanie. He has absolute loyalty of his followers. It also establishes Mr. Joshua's got a couple screws loose. So, like, you don't want to be in a lot of conversations with him,
Yep.
And so as the guy's walking away, he's like, be there tomorrow at this time and no tricks. You try anything, you're going to have to talk to Mr. Joshua. And now that's the last thing this guy wants to do is talk to Mr. Joshua. So, that was, I think that's just a really good scene that established a lot about our villains in the movie.
Yeah, Busey said that he wore like dark sunglasses the whole time because he wanted his eyes to dilate. Is that, or what's the opposite? What's the one where they get really
dilate.
big? He wanted his eyes to dilate. And he would wear that before every close-up, especially like that scene, because when it showed his eye, he's got like blue-green eyes. And so he wanted to make sure that when it showed his eyes, he wanted like shark's eyes. He wanted like dead, just like a monster with nothing inside. Which if we're talking about like somebody who's not completely there mentally, Gary Busey was the perfect cast. I mean, like, in fairness, I think he had a head injury or something. But I think even before that, he was pretty wacky. And still to this day, he's got plenty of antics. And he actually, during the pandemic, he started a YouTube show. I think it's called Pet Court or Animal Court, in which it's like Judge Judy, and he's the judge. And he oversees, I don't know if he's legally a judge, but he oversees court cases specifically having to do with pets. So, you guys should hang out here with us, but after this episode, go watch Pet Court with Gary Busey. So
you're not going to want to miss
off. And even though I'm pretty sure he doesn't know what happened, it's worth the watch. But yeah, taking it up a notch, they end up, like you mentioned earlier, they have the assassination attempt on Riggs. They think he's dead. They go and take Murtaugh's family, which is an odd scene, which they go home and they write him a letter saying, we took your daughter. And then his wife comes out. She's like, what's going on? He's like, get back in your room. Nothing's going on. It's a very strange response. But it all leads out to this showdown in the desert, which is a great scene.
Yeah, the desert scene is a fun one for a lot of reasons. So you see Murtaugh roll up in his 1980s station wagon, the back rows facing backwards, the wood side paneling.
Yep.
Back when wood was part of how they made cars. And
that's crazy alone to think about. Like, let's put some wood on there.
And then on the other side, you have this caravan of guys coming out and a helicopter flying like at car level right behind.
Helicopter. Put the helicopter in that scene. But sure, it doesn't make any sense. Put the helicopter in, damn it.
Isn't it flying way up high, spotting them, seeing if they're doing it? No, it's car level.
It's basically a car. Okay, so it's going way ahead to scout the perimeter to make sure that there's not a sniper behind them, right? Maybe Riggs is out there. No, put the helicopter behind them, behind the cars.
At car level. What are you not getting about this? I want that car in the back of the caravan sweating because the helicopter blades are right on.
Hey, this is Shadow Company, all right? Don't question these guys are elite, the elite of the elite.
They're special forces, man.
That's right.
Yeah, I love that. And then you have what I think is a very interesting play where Murtaugh pulls out a grenade, right? And this is wide open space. They got plenty of room. He's like, if you shoot me, I'm going to drop this and we all die. Like, I don't think so.
This is not how grenades work, dude. You're going to be the only one that dies.
I don't have any combat experience, but that's one heck of a grenade if it takes you all out.
The shrapnel just goes like thousands of yards. The helicopter guys are like, ah. I think they'd be more likely to die. And that's another thing. When Riggs shoots, why did he not shoot the helicopter guy? Like he should have, and then that could have. Maybe he didn't want to hurt the daughter.
Maybe he didn't want to obscure his view or something. Too much dust. I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a goofy scene, but one cool thing about it is that it does show a little bit of two things. I think back in those scenes back to back is that it shows the character development of Riggs and Murtaugh, kind of going opposite directions, right? So when Riggs gets shot, and then it shows that he's wearing his vest, it's a little bit of development of him saying, "I want to live." Right? The whole movie, he's been suicidal. And now this is a moment of he's saying, like, he's being careful. He's actually, like, he has a reason to live. And maybe that's his relationship with Murtaugh and his family. But then the flip side of that, when they take his daughter, and Murtaugh just goes right back to kind of Vietnam days. This is not Vietnam, Larry. There are rules. And when he gets the grenade, and he's kind of becoming Riggs in that scene, right? He's doing something completely unexpected and wild and crazy. You're not sure what he's going to do next. And so that's kind of the intersection of them becoming each other or taking the parts of each other that they need to in those moments, which is pretty cool.
One last point to make. I did think it was funny, the guy that they sent out in front, like the villains when they all get out of the car. He's like clearly their accountant.
As I say, take your hands out of your pockets.
Where is that guy from?
I don't know. It's the only scene he has.
I don't know. And they're like, we want you to go out there with the most ambiguous accent ever. Just make sure it sounds like a bad guy accent. So it was like Dutch, German, maybe some Spanish in there.
Right. Oh, he's not a big guy. I believe he's bespectacled and bald.
He was.
But he's not. He doesn't
tinted glasses.
Yeah.
They sent out the guy in there with the what are the glasses that get darker when you go outside?
Oh, like transitional lenses.
Yeah, transitional lenses. It's just slowly getting darker. The grenade goes off and it just goes black. Interesting choice to see out there, but
why didn't they have Mr. Joshua in the front?
Mr. Joshua, he was in the limo. He was hanging out, which is actually kind of a smart move.
I mean, he didn't get shot, though.
Right.
There's that.
But either way, the general, for some reason, flanks Riggs. What was he doing
somehow?
Out there? Yeah.
How did he do that?
He's just walking. He had his own helicopter. He had another helicopter that we didn't see.
That was great.
Actually, the scene where it shows Riggs running with the sniper and the helicopter shot, he's just in. That's his point of view.
That's the helicopter. He was filming
he's
that.
Just like following him. He's like, I cannot believe he can't hear me.
Right. This guy hearing is shot.
So all for naught. They go to save the daughter, and Riggs and Murtaugh get captured.
And so does the daughter.
That's right.
Because the helicopter rammed her off.
That's something.
Rams her off the road or something.
Seems like the least likely. Like that seems more dangerous for the helicopter than her.
For sure.
I think if anything, like the helicopter should be running away from her car. But yeah, either way, they get kidnapped. What's a good 80s action flick without some, unexplained torture devices?
Mm-hmm.
Just here's some torture things. Don't worry about the science of it. It's torture. Believe us.
I do like that when he was bringing that thing up to him. He was like, what is this?
He's like, we don't know. That's what makes it so exciting. Nobody knows what it means.
We don't know what this thing is. But
it's
people
provocative.
Seem to hate it.
It gets the people going.
Maybe that's why the torture didn't work.
It didn't work. I don't think it was doing anything. I think he was just pretending.
That would be a great break. They forget to plug in their torture device.
It had a towel on it. Like, why did it literally looks like the thing I used to steam my clothes.
I think it was a sponge hooked up to a car battery. I think that's what it was. I think
It's
that's
like, this guy is a genius in torturing. And then like immediately, this guy forgot to tie his legs.
I think his legs were tied. I think he used the rope to choke him a little or something.
Well, they were tied together. But
not to the ground.
Like this guy is like elite fighting, and they're like, yeah, he's good. Just gotta, put it. Yeah. As by the way, they're like, tell us what you know. Tell us what you know about what we're doing. Tell us what you know about the elaborate heroin thing that we have going on, and tell us when our next shipment is going to be, and tell us how much you know about how we're working with the bank to cover up this heroin thing. Like you're telling him everything. Who's like,
interrogating who?
Yeah. I think somehow it got flip-flopped and Mr. Joshua just started telling him everything.
Yeah.
Not a very good bad guy. Not a very good menacing Mr. Joshua.
I like how the torture guy gave up. He's just like, yeah, man, I don't think we're getting anything out of him, dude. Nobody can take that much.
It's like, you've been doing this for 22 minutes. What do you do? I paid you for at least the hour. It's like, sorry, man.
He's getting paid per hour.
You got to call my union rep about this, all right?
I got another session in 5 minutes. Man. I got to get out of here.
And then the best part is that whenever he chokes him out, he has a little scissor choke on him. And then for some reason, when he rescues Murtaugh and the daughter, he's carrying him. Like, how far away was this area? But it was like, I assume it's a few hundred yards because they can't hear him. And he's just carrying this guy with him just for the purpose that in case there's somebody on the other side of the door, he could throw him. That seems like the least inefficient way to attack him.
He's being resourceful, man.
He's like, I better bring this human body with me as a weapon, just in case. He didn't even know what he was going into. He's like, I got to bring him. I got to bring this guy with me.
That's a good point.
You got to love 80s movies, man. You got to love them.
I do. I'm glad we got around to watching our first one.
Yep.
With this one.
So, yeah. 80s shootout. Another 80s shootout happened. They get out. They're, no way you live. No way. Shoots the driver. Again, not the general, but the general crashes, which is, I guess that's fine. And then the best part is that Riggs and Mr. Joshua are just having a straight up machine gun battle in like downtown LA, like on the freeway. And the best part, and I mean, I know it's LA, right? And I know it can get a little hairy at certain areas of LA, but the drivers do not give a crap. They're just driving like everything's normal, full on just AKs going open fire in the middle of the freeway. Actually, at one point, Joshua pulls somebody out of the car, and the guy's like, hey, come back here. He's like mad. The guy has a machine gun, and he was like chasing down the car.
That's my car. Yeah. Not like, I just got so lucky I didn't get shot.
Yeah. I know. He friggin' has like a fully automatic, and the guy's mad about his like 82 station wagon. So, a lot of station wagons in this movie.
It was the 80s.
It was.
It's like one of the only cars. It was the Model T of its time.
It was. It was really good stuff. So it all comes down to a boil here at Murtaugh's house.
Right.
The only guy on the block with Christmas decorations for some reason.
To emphasize it's a Christmas movie.
They really want you to remember. And then the final fight happens. Mr. Joshua comes in menacingly.
He shoots their TV for some reason.
That was valid. You needed to.
He may get that Christmas line. I think it's supposed to be a Christmas Carol. I don't know which version. I've been trying to find it, but the person says, "What day is it?" And this person turns to give him the answer, and then he shoots the TV and says, "The day of Christmas." Which surely the line is, "It's Christmas Day," right?
That was just Gary
Busey.
The line that actually just happened on the day. That was just like the line was supposed to be. He was just supposed to turn off the TV, but Gary Busey just shot the
thing. Yeah, but I mean, the final battle, that whole sequence is my oh yeah right for this movie. Is they don't explain why this is allowed to happen, but like they get Mr. Joshua, right? They have him dead to rights. He's got a gun on him. He's hands up. They can just arrest him here, right? They should just arrest him here. But instead,
What do you say, Jack? Would you like a shot at the title? Don't mind if I do.
Murtaugh takes off his jacket for him. And he's
Nice.
like, all right, Riggs, get him. They just have a punch battle.
You want a shot at the champion?
Yeah. They're just fighting. They're getting like giant poles and swinging them at each other. And then here's the thing. Like 50 police officers show up. And
Yeah.
Murtaugh is like, trust me, I'll take full responsibility for this. And they just let them fight. Why?
He's like, I've known this guy for 48 hours. I'll stake my entire career and pension on him to let him fight this guy that we've already captured.
We already got him beat. We're just going to take chances. Like,
he almost loses, too.
He almost drowns him. Riggs almost gets drowned in a mud puddle in Murtaugh's front yard.
And then, of course, none of it would be complete without. Goes from the mount, armbar, failed armbar, right in the triangle. Just just like they teach you. I wore my jiu-jitsu shirt. Shout out Ascension Jiu-Jitsu, North Georgia. You guys hit them up. Good stuff. Big fan of jiu-jitsu, practitioner myself. And that's where you don't go for the armbar from mount. That's just my personal feeling on it. You give up a strong position, but either way, he still choked him out in a triangle choke and let him go for some reason. It's like, what was the point?
Let him get arrested.
Like, why? Why did he do that? Why did he allow the fight to happen if he wasn't going to, like, I don't know.
Right. He doesn't ask Murtaugh for the fight. Murtaugh is just like, I get it.
It's
I
just,
understand.
It's just a little, like, uncommissioned fight just to, like, let's just see who wins. You want a shot at the champion?
Aren't you curious? Yeah. That, I had to say, oh, yeah, right, to that one.
That's a good, oh, yeah, right. So, yeah, final battle. It all comes up to a close. And I think sets up nicely for Lethal Weapon 2.
Well, I mean, the cherry on top is that Riggs gives Murtaugh his bullet as a gift.
Yeah.
Which, he said the only thing that kept him every day from succumbing to ending his life was the job.
Yeah.
Right? He said, every day I come up with a reason not to do it, and it's the job that's keeping me going. But then when he gives it to Murtaugh, it's almost as if he's saying, now it's you.
Yeah.
Now it's our partnership.
Right. He kind of adopts him into the family.
Yeah.
You really like my wife's cooking? No. All right. What a fun watch. What a fun movie. And we do it every week. We're going to give our rating on what we thought of the movie. Matt's going to give his science realism. I'm going to do the filmmaking crap, but we're both going to do story, rewatchability, and emotional impact. Matt, I'll let you kick it off. What do you got for Lethal Weapon?
Yeah. So story, I gave this one a 7. It's kind of hard to follow because there's like so much action and stuff throughout, but the story I think is actually quite interesting. Where they kind of think it's just an open and shut like accident, and then they think it might be a murder, and then they realize that it was a murder, but not for the reason they thought. It's like they kind of go through this whole thing, and the story makes a lot of sense. It's very interesting. I did enjoy the story on this one. Rewatchability, I gave it an 8 because it's so fun. It's exciting. It's funny. It's kind of got everything that you'd want.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those movies where you catch new stuff about it every time you'd watch through it. I would imagine. I've only seen it the one time. But like there's so many things I barely managed to catch. I was like, oh wait, did he just say this? And I had to like rewind just to check. I'm sure there's tons of it throughout the movie. Emotional impact, I give it a 6, just because they put that, the big bow on it. It's you have that whole family dynamic with Murtaugh and his daughter and her getting kidnapped, and then you have Riggs kind of coming full circle to actually wanting to live out this life that he has.
Right.
So emotional impact on this one's a 6 because there's so much other stuff going on. Like the emotionality of it is sort of secondary to the rest of the movie.
Right.
For science realism, I give it an 8. no huge glaring problems. I think maybe the scene where they jump off the roof, you might have had a fractured wrist in there somewhere. Uh, the electrocution scene,
You think?
I think that one's all right. But yeah, I think an 8 is probably most fair.
Solid. All right, pretty good. Story I have at a 5. And look, before everybody comes at me, I know I said it was a great script. It is a great script. The thing is, I think that there are some pretty glaring Deus Ex Machina in
Mm.
in the story, like the kids, and there's a lot in there that's like, now here's the thing to keep the story going. That's a little clunky, but the characters are fantastic. So for that, I give it a 5. We're gonna have to start, taking it up a notch in terms of our criticism, because they're all great movies here on the list, and we're gonna have to start differentiating. We can't have all of them be 25s or 30s. Rewatchability, I have it a 9 though. I loved so much going back to this movie. It's one like I said, I grew up with. For some reason, I always watched it on Thanksgiving, so it feels like Thanksgiving a little bit to watch. And so that was nice. Emotional impact, I have a 7. Some of the reasons you mentioned, and then I think something that pushes it up, hugely is just that one scene in the trailer with Riggs and the gun. The acting in that is just so excellent. The choice, I think, of and this is probably a directing choice or an editing choice, but he has the picture of his wife, and he holds the picture to his face for like 8 seconds and just cries and talks to her. And you have this superstar in Mel Gibson with his beautiful face, and he's showing so much emotion, and he holds a picture over his face. So it's black and you can't see it for just that time. And they just allow it to sit, which I think is a really brave choice that they made. So good on Richard Donner and the team on that. And then the filmmaking craft, I have it a 6. Great movie, really fun. Pacing was fantastic. The editing was fantastic. ADR had some issues. So we talked about the mouth didn't exactly line up, but it's the 80s, man. You're going to have all that. And, I was going to have it at 5, but that helicopter in all the scenes definitely pushes it up 1. It was even in the last scene. As they're fighting, a helicopter makes 1. I don't know if it's their helicopter, but they're going to put the helicopter in there.
I love it.
So in Lethal Weapon 2, which we'll do eventually, everyone has a helicopter. So the whole movie is just nothing but helicopters.
People in helicopters.
That's right. All right. So we're moving on. I think we're coming up on number 10 on the movie list. So we're at 10%. And the next movie, it's about time that we have a Scorsese. We're gonna leave some of the greats, but we have a very good one, Scorsese, for you, and that is Shutter Island.
All right. Excited to watch this one.
Do you know anything about it?
I know it's like I think it's like a thriller of some kind, like a psychological thriller.
Mm-hmm.
I think it takes place in like an insane asylum or something like that. It's Leonardo DiCaprio.
It is. And Mark Ruffalo, and but it's Martin Scorsese. So it's going to be great. So hang on to your butts, guys. And we will be here back next week talking you through Shutter Island. Hope you get a chance to check it out. If not, we'll take you through it.
All right. See you next time.
See you guys.